Let's talk about Beatrice Horseman, the chain-smoking, soul-crushing mother of BoJack, the human migraine in horse form. If BoJack is the embodiment of nihilism in a talking horse body, then Beatrice is what happens when bitterness ferments for too long and turns into vinegar. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, yes, I know she had trauma, and yes, I know trauma travels, but that doesn't mean we don't get to hold her accountable for the car crash she caused in her son's psyche. Let's start with the obvious. Beatrice was a bad mom. Full stop. It's not complicated or nuanced or morally gray. She sucked. She was cruel, dismissive, emotionally abusive, and deeply uninterested in anything resembling affection.
Okay, enough me being a great mom. I'm gonna go hide your father's heart medication. Enjoy your dumb little TV show.
BoJack spent his entire childhood trying to win her approval and failing. Not because he was a bad kid, but because she wasn't capable of giving it. You could hand Beatrice a perfect child, fresh out of a parenting catalog, and she'd still find a way to break them like a vase she never wanted. But to really understand how Beatrice got here, let's rewind way back to the woman who broke her. Beatrice's childhood was a hellscape in pastels. Her mother, Honey, was a bright, bubbly socialite who lost her son in the war and just fell apart, like completely, a nervous breakdown that never unhappened. Honey refused to treat her grief. She became erratic, paranoid, and eventually got a lobotomy, which pretty much vacuumed out the rest of her personality.
Say something, damn it! What has become of you?
So Beatrice was left with a father who coped by checking out and a mother who became a shell. So yeah, Beatrice never learned how to love. She was raised in a house where emotions were either buried or punished, where vulnerability was a weakness.
You can't let your womanly emotions consume you. You don't want to end up like your mother now, do you?
Where nurturing meant not making a scene in front of the help. And that's tragic, no question. Beatrice was neglected, ignored, and emotionally abandoned. But tragedy isn't an excuse, it's context. Understanding where someone comes from doesn't make them any less toxic. It just explains the ingredients in the poison they serve. Beatrice marries Butterscotch Horseman, a failed novelist with a drinking problem and a permanently bruised ego. She doesn't love him, he doesn't love her. They both hate themselves in compatible ways, so it works. Then BoJack is born. And what does Beatrice decide? That this child, this poor, unsuspecting fool, will justify all her sacrifices. He'll be famous, he'll be successful, he'll make her life feel like it meant something. And that's the start of emotional hostage situation.
You better be worth all this. Well, you're not.
I'm not what?
She doesn't raise BoJack to be happy. She raises him to perform. Every smile, every laugh, every hug, transactional, conditional, earned through achievements. She doesn't want a son, she wants a trophy. But even when BoJack becomes a sitcom actor, it's not enough. Because nothing ever is. Not when your love comes with a receipt. One of the most devastating things about Beatrice isn't what she says, it's what she doesn't. She never tells BoJack she loves him. She never shows pride. She never even acknowledges his pain. In the flashback episode Times Arrow, we see her memory glitching out, skipping like a scratched DVD. But one thing that remains consistent is her disdain for her son. Even in her dementia, BoJack isn't a comfort. It's a regret, a mistake she keeps reliving. It's not just that she doesn't love him. It's that she doesn't believe in love. She treats it like a weakness, a trick, and when BoJack seeks it, she mocks him for it, like he's stupid for even trying. There's this moment that always hits me like a truck. His mom just looks at him with this hollow expression and says, "You better grow up to be something great, to make up for all the damage you've done."
You better grow up to be something great, to make up for all the damage you've done.
He's a kid, a literal child, and she's already decided he's a disappointment. Let's talk about generational warfare. Beatrice doesn't just inherit trauma, she weaponizes it, turns it into a parenting style. There's this cultural myth that moms are supposed to be warm, nurturing, and soft. But Beatrice is a reminder that not all mothers are built from love. Some are built from pain, and they pass down that pain like an heirloom. What's interesting about Beatrice is that she knows she's messed up. There's a moment in the series where she says to BoJack, "I tried to be a good mother." And BoJack's response, "You didn't try hard enough." That might be the most honest exchange they ever have. Because trying isn't enough, not when the damage is this deep. You don't get points for intention when the result is emotional neglect. One of the show's most haunting episodes is the old Sugarman place, where Bojack renovates his grandparents' old house. In it, he sees the echoes of Beatrice's past, sees the broken girl she used to be. It's the closest we'll ever get to seeing her as a full person. And in that moment, you feel it. The weird flick of sympathy, that, damn, maybe she never had a chance moment. But then you remember, she still chose to repeat the cycle. She could have broken it. She could have loved her son better. She had all the evidence of what neglect does to a person, and she chose to double down. That's the saddest joke. Beatrice didn't fail because she was incapable. She failed because she believed that love wasn't real.
Beatrice, promise me you'll never love anyone as much as I loved Cracker Jack.
I promise I won't.
That people didn't change, that all you could do was survive. Bojack inherited that belief, and it ruined him. In season 4, Bojack takes care of his mother in her old age, and it's brutal. He doesn't do it out of love, he does it out of obligation and guilt and something gross and complicated.
And when her eyes spark with recognition, I'm going to sit down next to her and get real close and say, "Fuck you, Mom."
There's this moment in the stop show where Beatrice finally dies. In Bojack's reaction, nothing. Because what do you do when the person who hurt you the most is gone? What do you do with all that leftover rage, all that unresolved pain?
My mother is dead, and everything is worse now.
Beatrice leaves Bojack with one final gift. A lifetime of emotional debris and no real closure. No apology or resolution, just silence. So why are we talking about this cartoon horse and his ice queen mom? Because Bojack Horseman isn't just a show about depression. It's about legacy. It's about how pain is passed down. About how people hurt each other, not out of malice, but out of habit. Beatrice is a warning of what trauma can do, and also what happens when we don't face it, when we let it fester and let it define us. She was broken, but she also broke others, and that matters. You don't have to hate her, but you don't have to excuse her. Don't soften what she did just because she suffered too. The point of her character isn't to redeem her. It's to understand her and then choose to be better. Bojack spends the whole series trying to outrun his past, but eventually he has to face the truth. His mom was a bad parent, and he's not free from that legacy until he stops making it an excuse. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me which part you relate to the most, and I will see you next time. Bye!